Greetings, YouTube. So a judge has issued a temporary injunction against the Texas Anti-Trans Children Bill. So what is this bill all about? Well, Texas has decided that if a family shows their trans child love and support and helps them on their journey to discover who they really are, they should be considered engaging in child abuse, and that child should be taken away from their children from their family. Just they're going to pluck a trans kid out of their family and probably throw them into the forced foster care system that will not give them the gender affirming health care that they need, and probably misgender them all the entire time they're doing this. So if you have a family in Texas that makes sure their kid has the psychological support they need through therapy and has the medical support they need from a doctor to move along the path of finding out what their gender is as opposed to what it was assigned to them at birth, that's considered abusive in Texas now, because Texas decided to enshrine bigotry and discrimination and just ugly prejudice into law. Uh, their reason for this, remember now, is that they're trying to protect the children. Somehow, someone in Texas has decided that the best way to protect children is to outlaw the medical procedure of gender confirmation surgery before the age of 18, except no one under the age of 18 has gender confirming surgery. Um, they're also convinced that hormone blockers will cause cancer and infertility. They don't. Hormone blockers just put a pause button on your puberty. They're also convinced that HRT, hormone replacement therapy, will also cause, cancer and infertility, and they won't. And both of those procedures, both the hormone blockers and HRT, are completely reversible just by stop using them. Um, so Texas has created a law based on myth and discrimination, just ugly lies, and it is a solution looking for a problem. But you see, the GOP, most social conservatives in America, are desperate. They need a target to vilify. And they've learned the hard way that if they vilify black people or brown people or women or gay people, they'll lose, because society has decided, those people should be treated like people. We should treat black people and brown people and Asian people. Now, there's still ugly prejudice against all of these groups, but legally, more and more people are turning to the reality that they should be treating people of color and women as people. It's not a win, mind you. So remember, 73 million Americans outed themselves as white nationalists in 2020 election. Um, but the social uh, values of the nation are switching, because those that won the election support black people and women, at least in theory. I understand that, like, New England or liberals can be just as racist as the folks that voted for the turnip, but in their own special way. Um, so the GOP needs a group to vilify. I mean, they can't vilify the commies like they did back in the 50s and the 60s. So they've decided to pick on one of the most marginalized groups in the world, trans people, and the even more marginalized and more easily oppressed and objectified trans children. So they've gone after the most vulnerable group in America they could find and decided to target them, because this policy in Texas will kill children. Children will die. They will kill themselves, because they will see society as saying, not only can you not be who you are, but we will take you away from your families. We will put your parents in prison. Idaho is working on a law right now that will prevent parents from taking their children out of state to get gender affirming medical care and threaten them with prison time. If they support their children, if they help their children on their path, they will be considered criminals. because the social conservatives are desperate. And this is the target they've chosen this time around. Trans kids, children, who they will force into a position that we will lose them to suicide. And remember, the GOP claims to be the party, that has family values. Won't you think of the children? I'm reminded of something I read not long ago, is that you don't call a butterfly a caterpillar. The butterfly is who the caterpillar was meant to be. Some folks are lucky enough to be cisgender, and we align with what we were assigned with at birth. I'm one of those folks. I've got cis privilege. I've never, ever had to question my gender. Never. Not for a second. In fact, the idea didn't even never occur to me, because I don't have gender dysmorphia. I don't look at my body and think it's weird. No. But there are people who do. And that makes social conservatives very nervous. Because you start to ask questions about who you are on the gender spectrum, or who you are, say, on the sexual orientation spectrum. That undermines some very solid foundations that the social conservatives have thought would never, ever be shaken. And now you tell them that those are not actually foundations, that those things are as shifting as the sand on the shore. And that makes social conservatives very nervous. And so rather than face the reality that who they are was a construct that society helped them create, they're willing to put children in danger and facilitate their death.